Okay, been a minute since I've done anything. Definitely more than a week now. I just haven't been able to between traveling and needing to do chores at home and this, that, and the other. But I need to take these brackets off. I think this is for the parking brake cables. I believe that's what it's for. I need to transfer these brackets to the bottom side of this pan. Luckily, there's not much left on this piece of metal here, right? But at least I did have these reference holes here and here and right there and right there. So that translates. I checked, I measured center between the holes, and that's the same on these over here, so that's good. So what I did was I got me a stick here. I was able to put a mark here, so that's the back side of this bracket because that's flat. This is kind of rounded, so I get a clean measurement there from this hole. So cool. But it's also sitting at an angle relative to those holes. So I just got me a straight edge here, and you can kind of see where I marked it there, and there, so I can get I can now put a mark on those holes, and hopefully then replicate that angle. I don't have anything to go by over here. It's just eat up metal. I wanted to capture this one too. So I did the same thing, kind of just put the board on the back side, marked it here and here. So I should be able to take measurements from this point to this point, right? And same thing from here to that point. And I should be able to mock it all up and get it pretty good. I don't actually think it's that critical to be perfect, but I'll get it, I think, pretty daggone perfect. And so we're gonna get it all marked up, make sure we're happy with that, then take these off, clean them up, then weld it here. So I'll bring it back. Okay, I did it a little bit different. Well, one of the things I'm using is this little fabric tape measure, kind of cool, right? Got freedom units and metric units on it. Of course, I use freedom units. So that's 7.5 freedom units from point to point here. And so once I was able to find this side, which was pretty easy because I put that mark here, put the mark there, so I had a plane to be able to capture this angle. I did the same thing, put the mark here, and see this one's a lot closer to there, and then able to put the straight edge against those marks, and then that gives me this outside edge. It kind of rolls in a little bit, so I got to kind of account for that, but it's really for this top side here. So once I did that, I was able to measure from this point, rolling it around with fabric tape around the tunnel, and I capture 7.5 inches, running all the way around. And then able to kind of capture it over here, and it's hard to measure, but anyways, I think it's close enough. I mean, I should be capturing that angle because I just went from point to point to point, so it should capture this same measurement. What I need to check is that it looks like it's coming in here at the front, so I need to double check that measurement. I actually don't think that's 7.5 inches. I think it's going to be 7.5 here, but I need to remeasure on the front. I think I need to change this angle up here. This one's going to be right because we're running off that plane, so that should be at an angle. So I should just have to measure. I've already measured it from here, and I know that's right, but I think this one up front is wrong. I don't think it's twisting in enough. See how these are kind of twisting in? I don't know if you can kind of tell, but anyways, that's the only other thing I got to do. I think I can remark that, and I think I'll be straight. Very good. I'll show what I mean. So it rolls in, but I'm kind of like lining up on this edge. So as best I can tell, that's at that 0, right? It's just kind of eyeballing down the plane. And then what I do is roll this tape measure around, and again, kind of eyeballing down that plane. But yeah, it's still maintaining 7.5. So I think maybe that's just an optical illusion. This piece of metal is not straight, so it looks like it is actually pretty straight. I know it's not straight relative to these holes. We can tell that, but I think they're pretty straight between the two, between front and back. Measurement comes out the same though, but that's what I'm talking about, that little fabric tape measure. Works out well. Yeah. Rounding up on a 0, 7.5 freedom units. So that's front and back's the same. So we're gonna roll with it. I think it's close enough for government work. You know what I mean? Okay, got these loose. I clean them up. That's where it was. I just ground on the back side. Just, you know, nothing pretty. So I can just clean it up now and put them on there. So we'll see. But that's a fairly easy project. I actually think, as bad as this metal is, it's actually fine up here in the middle. And it's a nice 16 gauge. It's a little thick. I think it's 16 gauge. I'm gonna check it. But I'm gonna go back on something I did earlier underneath this. This is just sitting here. This trunk floor is not installed yet. But you know, look back on a previous thing where I did a little bit of frame repair. I'm gonna call it frame repair. And I built a U-shaped channel. I've been sitting there and it's been bugging me. So I think before I do this, I'm actually coming to the bottom of that frame and I'm just gonna cut it out, right? And I'm gonna take this nice little piece of metal in here, flatten it out in the middle and just put it and weld it up in place. And do that before all this stuff goes in. And then it'll actually be like all of them. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's cleaned up pretty good. You know, that's the side that gets welded. I haven't done anything to that side, but I don't know. Probably not a big deal. I'll clean it up a little bit, but when it's all said and done, I'll again play a little rust reformer, and then the whole thing gets epoxy primer, so it'll be fine. There's the other one. Okay, whatever. So, you know, I cleaned it up. Are you okay with a little red oxide primer in the corner? It's not rust, it's red oxide primer. So, I mean, even in the corner, I cleaned it up. Are you happy? It ain't shiny, but it's good, right? So, get off my back. It's completely clean. So I got thinking of this thing. It's like, okay, great. I mean, I've got a long clamp over there. I was thinking about trying to come through this hole and come over here and grab it, but it falls short about right there, so I can't actually get it. So I got my plug welds drilled from this side, took the wire brush, cleaned up this E-coating around there, and I think the plan is I got just enough mark. I know it's not much mark there, but I got enough mark there that I can line it back up where it's supposed to be. And I'm just going to hit in those corners with a little tack. I can hold it from this side, tack, 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 right? And then flip the pan over and, you know, weld it from the other side. That's the only way I can come up with doing it. So somebody else has got a better idea, call me within 30 seconds and stop me. Okay, so yeah, I just kind of tacked them on in the corners. So I think I can flip this thing over, get the plugs on there, clean it up, flip it back over, then I go to work on this bottom side. But yeah, it looks pretty good, right? I think so. I mean, I see this side is up a little higher than this side, but I'm confident in my measurements. I don't know, when Ford built this thing, they had it a little higher on one side, I guess. If it worked for 60 some years, it'll continue to work. I don't think this thing is that critical. I think I'm being over whatever on this location, but it should be good. Man, flipping this thing over is freaking, it's not that heavy, but my goodness, it is quite cumbersome, you know, awkward. Anyways, I think this is pretty good. So you can see that's where I had a pretty good penetration on my little tack welds there from the other side, but that's good and solid there to the hole, so I should be able to drop some pretty little plugs in there, right? I can't really get it. You got it over there too. Anyways, I'll bring it back after I get it all welded in. Yeah, I think that'll work. That's all done, right? So we look good. Okay, so I'm pretty down with the thickness here, right? I mean, I can actually feel that really good penetration. I can feel little divots in there, so I'm burning through this metal. So I'm definitely, I don't know, I could pull a car with what I got attached there. I think it'll hold a brake cable. So that's good. We're calling that done. Now, here's the controversial part of what I'm going to do. Let me flip around and see me. I'm an old fat guy that sweats profusely in this hot garage. So, that being said, I don't like the idea of crawling around under the car. It ain't like Ain't like there's a lift in this joint, you know what I mean? It's just a regular 3-car garage. I'm happy they got a 3-car garage, but I ain't got lifts and stuff like that. I got jacks and jack stands, and that's about the best I can do. So I get the car up a little bit. So the idea of laying underneath here and painting is really not a good idea, right? I'm gonna have to do it to some extent with the actual paint, but I can get my 2K epoxy primer, I think sitting over here somewhere. I got a bunch of cans of that. I think what I'm gonna do, in my red Scotch-Brite, scuff, 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 not hard, you can actually see a little bit. Just scuff this E-coat, it's in really good shape. I don't wanna destroy that. I got scratches in here, but whatever. I'm gonna do that. I'm going to epoxy prime the entire bottom side. Then I'm gonna come back and clean around all of these, right? A little roll lock disc or something like that. Or grinder, I don't know. But I'm gonna clean it, take it back down to bare metal. I will, just around the weld itself. So I will clean the epoxy back off and clean this E-coat off. So I've got a good clean weld for when I put it in the car. But I think that's the next step. I feel like that's just a smarter move, is just to do that. So we'll end this little series with that being complete and being done. And, you know, I guess I'll start the next one with this being primed, or the priming process. There you go. Happy with that. Super pumped that I didn't completely forget about those and just throw that piece of metal away, because I had actually forgotten about it. I had been smart to remember to save that piece of tunnel for a couple of reasons, just for a little bit of metal if I needed it, and I did use some for some of that frame repair over on the other side over there. I think I'm going to use some more of it for a little piece of frame repair there, but I really had saved it because of these brackets. So I'm glad I had that. I'm glad I had some reference points that I could feel confident in pulling from with the little holes here. I don't even know what those holes are for, but whatever. They were there and they were there, and so they matched up, and I'm happy. And that looks very much like it did on the other tunnel. So as far as the orientation and stuff. There you go. Everything's done. Good deal.